Hi, Daniel and I are in Cleveland and we're having a few hours on our own for the first time in about 10 days. And so I picked up this book, Unfolding Spirit, Spirituality, Sexuality and Success, written by Sandy Midson. That was me, believe it or not. There's even a photo to prove it. So I wrote this book about 20 years ago and I picked it up and I've been reading it and I realized that there is a power to love that is so profound. In the last couple of weeks, the woman that I talk about a lot in this book, Jo Howell, she was my spiritual mother, my mentor, and best friend. And I wrote this book, and so much of it has her within it, her guidance, her teaching me how to heal and be healed. She expected that as my mentor, that I would naturally be a channel for God and Spirit, that I would put my hands on people and help them heal themselves, that I would do all of these amazing things. And when I met her, I thought, wow, this can't be possible. And of course, she brought all of that out within me. And that's what a spiritual mentor is meant to be. And I know that she has passed that mantle down to me, and that I have become the spiritual mentor that Jo was to me, to many, many thousands of people. And so I know some of you are watching this now, and I just want to say that I take that mantle on with all seriousness. That deep within me, I know there is a power of love that comes from the God within that is so deep and so profound that in its presence alone, I get to heal myself and help other people understand that you can heal yourself too. So it's been a very interesting afternoon, going back 20 years to this very funny little book where I talk about the absolute need to meditate, to go within, to connect with all that you are, because that's where your power resides. And right through the book, I mean, I was very brazen and very naive and innocent when I wrote this book, obviously, and it was really about all of these relationships that I had when I was looking for love. And I know that a lot of my friends out there have been going through the same thing, that you go out with someone and you meet them and you think, wow, I bet this is the love of my life, and it turns out that they're not. And so then you move on, you regroup, and you meet someone else and you think, wow, is this the love of my life? And you realize they're not. Now, if you're not residing deep within your heart with a wholeness, you know, if you haven't really integrated your personality and learned to become neutral to the things that hurt you, if you haven't started to grow your awareness so that you become higher and higher on this awareness scale, you know, on the Hawkins scale, if you've ever read any of David Hawkins' books, and if you haven't, please do, but on David Hawkins' scale of awareness, of consciousness, he says that when you get your awareness to 500, you're in love. When you take it to 540, you're in unconditional love. And by the time you get to 600, you're starting to go into enlightened states. And that's the aim and the goal of every spiritual mentor, is to help you get not only to 500 and above, to love and above, but into that 600 and above. But at the same time, to come into that state of wholeness, you have to integrate your awareness and the way you perceive the world, your projections, your judgments, how much you love yourself. And in this gorgeous little book, Unfolding Spirit, and maybe I'll rewrite it and republish it for you one day, but in this little book, it really talks about the fact that when you meditate, you get to understand how you work. You get to understand how your buttons get pressed, and how if you're not neutral to somebody else's thoughts and ideas about you, it can really drag you down. It can put you in a place that you feel like, I'm just not good enough. I mean, will anybody ever love me? Will I ever truly love anyone else? And what I really got from reading this book again was something that was so basic and that is so profound. And I talk about it day in, day out, but to read it again in my own words from that 20 years younger woman that I was, I realized that I had it right then. And that is that the power of love is the power that will lead you into enlightenment and beyond, into wholeness. And it's that wholeness, when you're oscillating in that truly divine energy, that is you, that is the God within you, where you attract into your life, like the most powerful magnet on the planet, the love of your life. And that's what happened for me. I finished writing this book, published it in 1997, and in 1998, I happened to have met a man called Sandra Biskind. Would you believe it? I was in that state of coming into a place of enlightenment and wholeness. It was my one true focus. There was nothing more important to me than for me to be the best version of who I could be from my spiritual life, from the spirit of my being, not from my ego mind, but from that highest part of me, which dwells within each one of us. So I was very, very lucky that, having been focused on my unfolding spirit, that I found another person who was focused on his unfolding spirit. And that's what you will find, that what you focus on, if you focus on the power of love, if you focus on becoming whole, if you focus on growing your awareness, and you focus on clearing up your personality issues, becoming neutral to them, becoming neutral to what other people think about you, becoming neutral to what you think about you when you're judging yourself as not being good enough or beautiful enough or smart enough. When you start to live in wholeness, you start to oscillate on a frequency where the other person waiting for you, where your partner waiting for you who is doing the same thing, will simply be brought into your life so the two of you can have the relationship of your dreams. Now, having said that, I thought it might be fun if I introduced you to Sandra Biskind. I know he has been missing from a lot of my videos lately, and I just thought maybe if I ask him nicely enough right now, he might just agree to say hi to you and talk about the power of love and living in wholeness from a male perspective. I mean, not that there's much difference really. I mean, we're talking about all of us being these incredible, divine, spiritual beings, having a human experience in this woman's body or in that man's body. But really, I know that John Gray says, you know, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Yep, that's probably true on a lot of levels. But when it comes to the heart, when it comes to the power of love, I don't think there's much difference. Would you like to hear from Sandra Biskind? I don't know. I would. So I'm going to ask him to give me the camera and turn the focus on him for a moment so he can talk to you. Namaste.